What's up YouTube, it's Mikazuchi here. Today I'm bringing you a slightly different Bujin build. Decided to do this one before my standard stand behind Kaiser set back row build, because it's far more interesting. Basic premise of this deck is to give Bujins a lot more speed and make them sort of more of an aggressive Xyz deck rather than more control-y that they normally are. Still sort of in its larval stages, but I've been winning sort of 3/4 of the games I've played with it on YJ Pro. So I think that's a fairly good ratio. And the only decks where it struggles against are heavy back row decks when I haven't seen my decree. So that's probably the main weakness of the deck. I think you'll see what I was trying to do as I go through the deck itself. Okay, first off, triple Yamato. Your main bread and butter Bujin. For those of you who don't know what Yamato does, during the end phase you can add a Bujin monster from your deck to your hand and then discard a card, and you can only control one of him. So what you need to do for this build is get him out as soon as possible and get your setup going. The next card, Mikazuchi, also helps with your setup. What he does is, if a Beast Warrior type Bujin monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon him from your hand. And then during the end phase, if a Bujin monster has been sent from your hand to the graveyard while you've controlled him, you can add a Bujin spell or trap. So between these two, you get your monsters in your hand and in your grave, and you get your Bujin incarnations to your hand. That's fairly standard for any Bujin build. Next card I play is, I play 2 Bujin Arasuda. The important part of his effect is when a Bujin is banished from your graveyard or your side of the field, you can special summon him in face-up defense. The last Bujin Beast Warrior I play is triple Hirame. You can't normal summon her, but you can special summon her by removing from play any Bujin apart from herself from the graveyard. So you need to use your Yamato shenanigans to get 1 Arasuda and 1 Hirame in hand, because then you can banish for Hirame, drop it. This triggers the Arasuda effect, special summoning that, and then you get an Xyz for effectively nothing. You still have your normal summon, so you can go Susanwo, add Yamato, then normal summon Yamato. For the Bujingi, 2 Hair, triple Crane, 2 Turtle, 1 Quillin, fairly standard, but I also like to play 1 Sinyo. Sinyo is for when you don't really want to discard anything for Yamato, but you need a Crane style effect. So you can just add this and immediately discard it, and then you have another I win this battle button in your graveyard. Also won me a Dev Pro game because the opposing player prohibitioned Crane. I need to beat over something, so I just sent this to grave and beat over it. And the final monster is 1 Honest because everything's light. Okay, for spells. 2 Bujin Incarnation, SS a Bujin from the banished pile and graveyard. If you control no monsters and your opponent controls at least 1 monster. So this is your late game comeback card. triple 10 key search beast warriors. Fairly standard. Triple monster slots. What this does is, if you have a face-up monster and a monster in your graveyard with the same level, you can banish the monster from your graveyard and draw one card and reveal it. Then if that card is the same level as those previous two monsters, you can just special summon it straight from your hand. This is great for this deck because I play a slightly increased monster count, and it allows me to get things into the banish that normally aren't, like your Beast Warriors or Crane for a Amaterasu effect. And because you're banishing most likely a Bujin, also trips Arasuda's effect. That's extremely good. And at worst, it's I banish a Bujin to get a draw. So it's deck thinning. Triple space, because this deck really doesn't like back row too much. Triple upstart, just for speed. And your cards are usually so big that a K doesn't really matter. One foolish, great grave setup for slots, hero mare, your Bujingi protection, anything you need. 2 breakthrough for traps, and then triple decree. So you look down your opponent's back row and then go Yamato, monster slots, hero mare, Arasuda, spam out, those are big things. For the extra deck, 2 Susanoo, 1 Kagutsuji, 1 Amaterasu. I'm tempted to bump Amaterasu to 2, but I think she's also fine at 1. Monster slots allows you to put things like Yamato and Crane into your banish pile, fuse with her effect, so you can special Yamato straight back, or during your opponent's turn you can just add a Crane so they can't be over you, stuff like that. 1 Tiger King, Omega, 1 M7 for overlaying over the Omega, 1 Pap, 1 Exton, Arc, Corn, Maestroke, Bistwella, Cowboy, Ragnar Zero, and Double. Yeah, let me know what you think of this slightly quicker Bujin list. It may look a bit odd to begin with, but I'd honestly recommend just trying it out on your chosen dueling simulator, whether that be DN or Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro or whatever else. Because it's a lot of fun to play. I often hear people saying how Bujin are no fun, but this is a fun build of Bujin, trust me. Yeah, that's all I really need to say. So, this is Mikazuchi 1, signing out.